The pre-war world of Fallout is filled with all sorts of advanced technologies. This crazy tech is placed within a setting that looks and acts with the best parts of the 1950s in mind. This contrast between old styles and culture paired with future tech is known as retrofuturism. Let's talk about that. This is retrofuturism in Fallout, or how a setting can tell a story. To understand Fallout's unique aesthetic and setting, we need to travel back to the real world 1950s. This was an era of optimism, the atomic age. The world's most devastating wars had ended, leaving folks thinking a new era of progress would take its place. There was a general excitement about science, technology, and engineering. Folks believed that nuclear power would usher in an era of unprecedented progress. People imagined a future where nuclear energy would provide limitless power, leading to many advanced technologies and otherworldly space travel. This optimistic view can be seen in the media of the time. Science fiction movies, TV shows, and comic books depict a world of flying cars, robots, and space colonies. Iconic imagery from this era, such as streamlined cars with tail fins, household robots, and ray guns, fueled the collective imagination about what the future could hold. This is retrofuturism. The Fallout universe captures this retrofuturistic vision, but with a twist. It imagines a world where the cultural and technological advancements of the 1950s continued well into the 21st century. However, instead of finally reaching some grand utopia, the world is plunged into a nuclear apocalypse, a stark contrast from the world that pre-war optimism had imagined. But how does Fallout manage to do this? How is the story of Fallout told through its retrofuturistic theme? Well, it starts with technology. The technology in the Fallout universe captures the real-life retrofuturistic style perfectly. First, let's take a look at some robots. Mr. Handy's, Protectrons, and other robotic helpers are designed with a 1950s aesthetic. The Protectron, for example, has this humanoid appearance with some gizmos and doohickeys visible in its head plate, reminiscent of Robbie the Robot, a science fiction icon from the 1950s. Many Protectrons and other robots within the Fallout games now typically act as enemies towards the player character. What were once automatons that held nursing, law enforcement, and other jobs pre-war have now either been reprogrammed by Wastelanders to perform other tasks, or have lost their programming entirely, attacking anything on sight. Initially made to help, humanity has lost control of its robotic technology following the Great War, with many robots free to roam the wasteland. This shift from helpful companions to deadly threats shows the fragility of human reliance on technology, how quickly something can turn from helpful to lethal. Next, we have power armor, perhaps the most iconic element of the Fallout series. Its bulky, personal tank design is very reminiscent of many armors and mechas that can be seen in 1950s media. Power armor tells the story of a society that managed to reach incredible technological heights, creating protective suits that can turn an ordinary soldier into a human tank. Following the Great War, however, power armor has now become an icon of the Wasteland's most technologically powerful factions, the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave. While mortal enemies of each other, both factions share similar symbols and ideas, as both factions revere the world before the war. The Enclave represents and spreads old world ideas, while the Brotherhood of Steel cares about preserving old world technology. This duality shows how different post-war groups interpret and value pre-war advancements. The Pip-Boy, Fallout's wrist-mounted personal computer, combines the clunky analog aesthetic of 1950s electronics with the advanced functionality of what is essentially a modern-day smartphone. The device not only provides a fancy UI for the players to interact with, but it also gives the players a cheeky connection to the pre-war world. That thing on their wrist is centuries-old technology. Even weapons in Fallout speak to this retro-futuristic charm. Energy weapons like laser rifles and plasma guns feature designs that could be straight out of a 1950s sci-fi movie. The Gauss rifle, for instance, combines an old-school industrial look with advanced magnetic acceleration technology to deliver a powerful kinetic blast to anyone in its sights. These weapons illustrate the pinnacle of pre-war technological innovation and the lasting impact it has on the post-war world. So, from household technology to advanced military gear, Fallout's technology tells of a world where the future imagined in the 1950s has become a reality. This retro-futuristic technology betters Fallout's narrative, showing how the ambitions and fears of the past continue to shape the post-apocalyptic present. Beyond technology, the architectural style in Fallout also draws heavily from 1950s concepts. While Art Deco is widely recognized and celebrated within Fallout, another lesser-known architectural design principle present in the game is Googie architecture. Googie is a futuristic style of architecture influenced by the atomic age, car culture, and jet planes. Characterized by its bold, sweeping lines, curves, and iconic starbursts, Googie architecture is most commonly found in Fallout's diners, gas stations, and motels. For example, the many Red Rocket gas stations scattered throughout the wasteland serve as a prime example of this design style. These structures, with their distinctive and flamboyant designs, symbolize the optimistic and ambitious spirit of pre-war society, a society that once dreamed big and reached for the stars. However, the ruins of these massive and stylized structures tell a different story post-war. Once symbols of progress and modernity, they have since been reduced to rubble, now only serving as reminders of an era long gone. The decayed and dilapidated state of these buildings reflect the stark contrast between the hopeful vision of the future that pre-war society had and the harsh reality of the post-apocalyptic world. The use of Googie architecture in Fallout is not just a stylistic choice, but also a narrative one. Googie represents America's fascination with space and the future. By seeing these buildings crumbled and ruined, we're seeing the grand aspirations and ideas held by the pre-war people crumble as well. It visually represents the shattered dreams and lost potential of the pre-war world. Beyond seeing it, we can also hear how Fallout's futuristic theme tells its story. Retro nostalgia is mixed with futuristic intrigue through the music and media of the game. The game's soundtrack prominently features songs from the atomic age, such as those by the Inkspots, Sheldon Allman, and Elton Britt. These songs evoke not only nostalgia for the 1950s, but also reflect the era's mixed feelings about the future. For instance, Uranium Fever humorously portrays the rush to mine and sell radioactive materials for profit, while Crawl Out Through the Fallout narrates a cautionary tale about nuclear fallout with an upbeat tune. Even the Inkspots music, known for its soothing melodies, often features themes of loss, reinforcing the uncertainties that come with an era on the brink of destruction. These songs both celebrate and critique the optimism and anxieties of pre-war society. Beyond music, Fallout is littered with retro-style advertisements and propaganda posters that mirror the consumerist culture of 1950s America. These advertisements, reminiscent of their real-life counterparts, promote a relentless pursuit of progress and consumer goods. They showcase a society fixated on technological advancement and material wealth, oblivious to the impending catastrophe that would reshape their world and lead to countless deaths. These images not only remind players of the retro-futuristic style that the game is set in, but also provides unspoken commentary on the consequences of rampant consumption. Through music and media, Fallout not only builds upon real-life aspects of the 1950s, but also paints the picture of an idealized and dangerous world. In a more abstract sense, everyday life in the pre-war Fallout universe provides a fascinating lens through which we can see how retro-futuristic themes tell the story of a world on the brink of collapse. The game paints a picture of 1950s America through its everyday activities. Families lived in suburban homes filled with futuristic gadgets and stylish furniture that reflected an idealized version of the American dream. From cooking with advanced appliances to enjoying leisure time with holotapes and board games, daily routines were steeped in a blend of nostalgia and innovative technology. However, beneath this facade of suburban bliss lay societal tensions and anxieties. The fear of communism and nuclear war loomed large, shaping everything from political beliefs to neighborhood gossip. Old relics that survived the Great War, like propaganda posters, public service announcements, and even school drills over an old PA system, show a society fearful of communism and constantly preparing for nuclear conflict. The threat of the Great War permeated daily life, influencing media, education, and family dynamics. In Fallout, the retro-futuristic setting isn't just a backdrop, but a storyteller in its own right. From advanced technologies frozen in time, to architectural designs of an era long lost, from nostalgic tunes that echo through the wasteland, to small pieces of everyday life. Each element comes together to form the setting of the Fallout universe. And what we're left with is a desolate wasteland haunted by the hopes, ideas, and technologies of a once optimistic society. Fallout's retro-futuristic charm hides a world where yesterday's dreams shape today's nightmares. That's all from me today, folks. If you liked the video, be sure to share and subscribe. Join the Discord. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Hey, Jimmy, are you tired of bullies pushing you around?
Boy, am I!
What if you could get rid of them forever?